And now for a closer look on how the situation in the Middle East is rippling through the Korean economy. We're joined now by Song Soo-young, Professor of Business and Economics at Chung-Ang University. Professor Song, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, good morning to you, and thank you for inviting me.
So import prices in South Korea surged in March, marking their sharpest jump in almost 3 decades. What do you think this means for the Korean economy, and how should the government be responding?
Yeah, clearly it is a burden to the Korean economy because South Korea economy has experienced a setback in the later part of the 2024 first quarter, and that has some ripple effect over the past year. But our economy is on the path to the recovery clearly, and it is well reflected on the rise of the Kospi index from almost 3,000 to double the size. Now, because of the setback and the war occurred breakout in the Middle East, and that turns out to be a really high price increase over the oil supply and some related petrochemical products turns out to be a burden. So it will be materialized over the coming several months, and even though the war has ended immediately, it could have the negative effect will persist for a while. So to that regard, my primary concern lies not in some inflation or import price. Clearly, that is a burden, but the growth rate of the economy is really prime concern over the several months to come.
Right, and the Bank of Korea held its interest rate steady at 2.5% last Friday. How do you think the ongoing war in the Middle East might shape the rate decisions for the rest of the year?
Yeah, this is clearly in relation to the first question, whether what is the primary concern of the South Korean economy for the upcoming quarters. As I argued in the previous question, that our economy has shown, even though the year-on-year GDP growth rate turns out to be 1.6%, but clearly it will be on the declining phase over the coming months and quarters. So to that regard, even though the Bank of Korea decided to hold the 2.5% of the interest rate because of the concern lies more weight on the upcoming inflation due to the import price increase from the because of the Middle East war. But this year, so currently, I have observed that among the experts to whether to interest rate to remain right now, remain constant over the next several quarters to come, or raise or lower, then that is a really very equally divided among the upcoming interest rate changes. So I would like to put the more weight on the declining interest rate. That would be beneficial for the South Korean economy to recover from some upcoming potential recession to come.
I see. And just yesterday, President Lee called for the removal of outdated regulations to support new businesses. How might this help boost the global competitiveness of Korean firms?
President Lee's emphasis on some deregulation and removal of the unnecessary and the burdensome regulation, outdated regulation, focuses on the issues of the new and some front-edge industry, because the front-edge industry is quite new to the economy, and then all the regulation may not play a necessary and sufficient role to guide the newly developed and frontier economy. So to that regard, we must make our new regulation as a guiding post, and also necessary update and change and adjustment may be needed for that. But particularly this focuses on some front-edge industry. It means that the front-edge industry has not materialized the growth rate or return. It implies that the increment of the interest rate might be a burden to these industry to develop and to go into further expansion and to be adopted as a standard for the economy.
Right, and now turning to the labor market, the latest data shows the employment of young people fell again last month, and that extended a deadline that's now lasted 41 straight months. What's your assessment of the job market right now in South Korea?
Overall, the job market employment rate actually hit the record of 69.7%, but quite concern lies in the youth employment rate has been down for 23rd consecutive month, and the number of the youth job has been declined over the 41 months continuously. So this implies that what would be the reason and the cause of youth employment job numbers, and also employment rate has been declined is primarily because of some newly coming industries such as AI and the digital related frontier industry, because they do not need a new entrant employees for their industry. Rather, they will make use of the already has been a little bit old, but well equipped with the knowledge and expertise and experience. So that is one of the primary reasons. And another one is because of even though temporary, the transitory effect on some hospitality industry and the manufacturing and the construction. Clearly, there is some burden because of the outbreak of war and such some side effect has prevailed because of the war. So that is the primary concern of the youth employment. And another one is some behavioral aspects could be a cause of the youth employment decrease, because the youth working age people would like to wait and rest until they get a very good opportunity to a decent job position. So that is all these factors combined together to help decrease some youth employment problem. But I hope this will be resolved, not soon, but in the long run, this should be resolved, and as long as the economy is on the growth track.
All right, Professor Song, thank you very much for your insight today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.